Shohei Ohtani just saved the Dodgers' losing streak from getting uglier with absolute ace behavior. 7 shutout innings and 8 strikeouts. He's pitching like the best hurler in baseball right now.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Harry Ruiz, that's Travis Rodgers, and it's time for Locked On Dodgers. On today's show, Yasiel Puig faces possible prison time. Jason Heyward returns to the Dodgers in a new role. But first, ace mode activated. Shohei Ohtani stops the bleeding for the boys in blue. The Dodgers needed somebody to calm everything down on Wednesday night. They had lost 4 straight games. The pitching had been okay, but not excellent. The offense had disappeared at times, and the overall vibe around the team suddenly felt tense after what had been a good stretch earlier in the season. Then, Shohei Ohtani last night took the mound and completely took over the game. 7 scoreless innings, 8 strikeouts, only 4 hits allowed, 2 of them in the last inning. He was up there pitching 105 pitches, and honestly, San Francisco never really looked comfortable against him all night long. Travis, you were there at Chavez Ravine. I heard you on the TV with how loud you were yelling at yesterday's game for Shohei Ohtani. How was that for you, being able to experience it in person?
Yeah, it was really something else because he was in complete control of that game, really, from the opening pitch. He was never in trouble. I think there was one hard hit ball the entire game. Devers hit one hard off of him in the first inning. But other than that, he was just wiping guys out. And it got to the point, Harry, where he was so much in control, it almost got like you lost track of how good he was doing. It was just bang, 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 bang. And nobody had any sort of answer for what he's doing. I've seen him pitch well. I've seen him be in control. But that was, and we've been talking about this really all season long, that even as good as he's been all year, it felt like he had that another level to get to. The last 2 starts, he's gotten to that second level. He's untouchable when he's like that. And I thought, interestingly enough, last night, he wasn't throwing 100 every single time he would throw that 4-seamer. He hit it a couple of times, but his velocity was more in that 96, 97 range. But he just was dotting pitches. He was wiping guys out. He was efficient. The very rare occasions where there's a little traffic on the bases, he found that next level. He was absolutely brilliant. And I think as we sit here towards the middle of May, he's the best pitcher in the National League. As you know, if his goal this season was to win a Cy Young Award, he's on track. I mean, he is absolutely the best pitcher in the National League. Nobody can touch him.
No doubt about it. And you brought up his last 2 starts, including last night's. He went 7 innings in both of them. I was out there in Houston on Cinco de Mayo. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned walks, both of them on solo home runs to that left field porch, the Crawford boxes that make it a little bit easier for players to hit home runs. Then last night against the Giants, 8 days later, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts in both games. Simply untouchable. He got up to 44 innings pitched in the season, which allows him to be qualified to be the leader in the ERA clubhouse when it comes to baseball. Sub-1 ERA pretty much the entire season for the boys in blue, and he has now pitched at least 6 innings in all 7 of his starts, his most consecutive starts of that length in a single season in his career. This stat courtesy of Sonia Chen that writes for MLB.com. I mean, this is just showing you right now, this isn't just Shohei Ohtani overpowering stuff, throwing 100 miles per hour every time, although the velo's there. He's controlled. He's efficient. He's confident pitching from the very first inning up there on the mound. And what stands out most to me right now is how complete he's looking as a pitcher. To follow up what you were talking about, Travis, he wants to be the best pitcher in baseball. He's already been the MVP time after time after time after time in baseball. He wants to now win that Cy Young Award, which for one reason or the other, injuries, rest, he hasn't been able to compete for it in his time in Major League Baseball. Right now, Travis, it's hard to find an argument that Shohei Ohtani isn't the best pitcher in baseball. There will be purists saying, well, he doesn't pitch every fifth day like most of them are. It's like, well, the Dodgers don't need their pitchers on the mound every fifth day precisely because they have Shohei Ohtani available to be out there every sixth day. But 0.82 ERA through his first 7 starts, the last Dodger the only Dodger to have a better ERA through his first 7 starts in the season, you got to go to Fernando Valenzuela in 1981. Fernando Mania, 0.29 ERA through his first 7 starts, and that shows you how special this stretch has been for the boys in blue.
Yeah, he's been electric, and it's a weird combination of things, of both incredibly impressive and oddly just like, because it looks so easy for him. It looks like he's just absolutely in cruise control. I said to my friend DeAndre, who was with me at the game last night, I said to him, look at the scoreboard. It was the end of the 6th inning. He'd given up 2 hits. He'd given up no runs. He'd had 8 strikeouts. And it was like, oh my God, he's pitching that well. It's like, yeah, he's pitching that well. It was just super smooth, super easy, no traffic. And you can tell there's a level of intensity with him on the mound that feels different than we've seen before. And not that he was ever anything other than fully locked in previously, because that's just how he rolls. But it is I am here to do something I've never done before. And we've seen Shohei, when he decides he's going to do something that he's never done before, he does it, whether that's a 50-50, whether that's become the first 2-way player in the modern era, whatever it might be. If he decides he's going to do it, he does. And this, I'm kind of getting off the point here a little bit, but this is why his offense is not a huge concern to me. Once he fully decides that, hey, I need to get locked back in offensively, he will, because he always has been able to do it. Now, it's not just I'll just say it's the time. It's the ability to go in there and grind it out the way that you need to in the batting cage and everything else. But once he fully unlocks that, he's going to go right back to where he was, because he's just, it is a real pleasure to get to watch him do what he does. It's the second time I've gotten to see him pitch this season. I saw him pitch against the Mets, and he was really good against the Mets too. But the next time I started seeing him again last night, it's like, that guy's better than the guy that pitched against the Mets. And he's just getting a little better each time he goes out there. And he already was starting at a level that was ace level. And he's just going to like elite ace, super elite ace, mega elite ace. He just keeps climbing that ladder, and I don't know where it stops.
And fortunately, he had that run support finally on Wednesday night's game with Mookie Betts, with Santiago Espinal. With Santiago Espinal first, and then Mookie Betts going back-to-back in the 3rd inning. It was like the most unexpected thing ever to have Santiago Espinal open the score for the Dodgers with his first home run with Los Angeles. And then Mookie Betts followed up later, 4th inning, Teoscar Hernandez RBI single. Kyle Tucker, back-to-back doubles in yesterday's game. That was a pleasant surprise. He's starting to look a little bit better. But to where I was going to, they scored 4 runs in yesterday's game, which I would still like for them to give a little bit more run support. Yesterday, 1 would have been enough with the way that the Dodgers pitching went down, but not every night is going to be the same situation. And baseball rewards guys who play like this. Go back to the last 3 games, how frustrating it was that between his starts against the Giants on April 22nd, against the Marlins on April 28th, and against Houston on Cinco de Mayo, you combine those 3 starts, the Dodgers scored a grand total of 2 runs in those games. Those were all 3 defeats for the Dodgers. But yesterday, Shohei Ohtani goes 7 strong. And there was a moment that it seemed like he wasn't going to be able to go those 7 innings, because he was pitching in the 7th. He was already over 100 pitches, runners on first and second, a pop-up to left center field, and Andy Pajes catches it. The runner forgot how many outs there were. He was rounding third. They just throw it to second base. Double play. Everybody was like, please, ground ball, double play, get him out of the 7th. Well, baseball gods reward a guy like Shohei Ohtani, and he was able to get out of there 7 innings strong with 4 hits and no runs earned.
Yeah, Show got a little lucky there, because that ball was smoked into the alley in left center field. Pajes made a great running catch, and Adames just had a brain cramp and forgot how many outs there were. He just took off. It's why they're in last place, or why they're one of the worst teams in the National League. They're just not playing really good baseball, and it finally caught up to them last night. Kind of going through some of the other stuff you said. The lineup the Dodgers ran out there yesterday was kind of odd, right? You saw Espinal, you saw Call, you saw Teo in the DH role. It was just kind of a different look offensively. No Dalton rushing. We'd seen him get most of the DH at-bats in the days that Shohei was pitching. Tucker's 2 doubles were great. Like, I mean, that's fine, but neither one of those balls was hit particularly hard. I still don't know if he's really seeing it the way that you would like him to. I thought Mookie was terrific. The home run that he hit was a beauty. He also hit the ball on the button another time. The shortstop, Damas, made a really nice play on him, catching a line drive, but looks like Mookie's swinging the bat pretty well, playing a great shortstop. I mean, 3 different plays up the middle of the field. There were just, not crazy hard, but, major league shortstop plays that he just makes in his sleep now. Super fun to see. The one guy that we really haven't talked about much here, Harry, that I thought was really interesting again last night is Kyle Hurt. Kyle Hurt came in and pitched the 9th inning of a game, and he's striking out about half the guys he sees this season, and he's just been really, really good for the Dodgers. Tanner Scott had another nice game for LA last night. So, they finally put it together. They got some hitting. Freddie had a nice hard hit. They just, everybody but Will Smith kind of chipped in last night. So it was a really good night for LA on a night that they needed it. Show needed it. The team needed it. And they ended that little skid.
Yeah, shout out to Kyle Hurt. We interviewed him here on Locked On Dodgers during the first month of the season in April while he was still with AAA. He has 11 appearances this year. He allowed 1 earned run in his first one, and since then it has all been scoreless. After only pitching in 4 games in the major leagues between 2023 and 2025. Now he's taking advantage of this opportunity in 2026. Now that he's fully recovered from his injury, that's a big opportunity for him. You spoke about a funky, interesting lineup for the Dodgers yesterday. Just wait for today, because it seems like Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts won't be playing in today's game from what Dave Roberts said. Obviously, things fluctuate. Things can change. Today's game's a 7-10 first pitch in the final game of a 4-game series. But as of now, from what Dave Roberts spoke to the media, it seems like it will be without Shohei Ohtani, without Mookie Betts. Hopefully, they can split the series right here. You understand the Mookie Betts situation, Travis, where he's coming back from that oblique injury. They don't want him to play as many consecutive games, which would be 4 in a row if he ends up playing tonight. And then Shohei Ohtani, they gave him the night off as a batter yesterday. They want to do it once again to see if that changes something for him, especially now going on the road for 6 consecutive games with this series and then 3 more in Milwaukee. They got Anaheim, they got San Diego, and then Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's going to be weird to see Ohtani in the dugout just sitting there. I mean, it's just, when was the last time you saw him just healthy and not playing? It's just, we just have not seen much. I understand what they're doing. I'd put Shohei in the lineup if it were me. I'd want his bat there. I understand getting Mookie off of his feet. Again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about a second ago. Mookie hit the ball hard twice. Mookie hit the ball hard the night before once. So he's seeing it pretty well. I would not want him out of the lineup. I'd want him to continue to have those good vibes. But they've got a plan. They stick to their plan. I respect the plan. But, baseball, when you get hot, you want to stay hot and you want to keep playing. So I'm sure Mookie's going to have to be talked off the ledge when he's seeing the ball the way that he is.
When it comes to show with the Dodgers, he missed 3 games in 2024. He missed 4 in 2025. And now there's an opportunity that today he doesn't play at all for the Dodgers. And it's for a completely different reason than just rest, as it was the last 2 years whenever he wasn't at the batter's box for the Dodgers. All right, we want to hear from you checking out our show. Do you think Shohei Ohtani is the true ace of the Dodgers right now? Do you think he's the best pitcher? I mean, I consider him, with the way he's pitched the 7 games, the best pitcher in baseball. Well, that would put him obviously as the best pitcher in the Dodgers rotation as well. Travis, do you think the same way?
Yeah, right now he is. I mean, if you told me that tomorrow was the game 7 of the World Series, I think I'd still pick Yamamoto just because he's done it so many times and he's been so good in that situation. But right now, Ohtani's their best guy, and it's really not even that close.
We want to hear from you. Drop your take in the comments or let us know on any of our social networks, or hit up the Locked On Dodgers listener line, 2793-LOCKED. I want to hear where you stand. We already got a couple of voicemails lined up for tomorrow, so if you have an opinion when it comes to Shohei the pitcher, let us know, and we could play your voicemail or read your text. All right, coming up on Locked On Dodgers, Jason Heyward is officially back with the Dodgers organization, and his new role could end up being really important for the next generation of young players in this system. If you've ever opened your bank account and thought, where did all my money go? You're not alone. Keeping track of subscriptions, spending, and bills can get overwhelming and very fast. That's where Rocket Money comes in, helping you take control of your finances all in one place. You can set budgets, get alerts, and stay on top of upcoming bills. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel unwanted subscriptions. Plus, it monitors your spending and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Once again, that's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club for ad-free episodes and access to a group chat with me and other listeners of this show. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedondodgers.supercast.com. Jay Hay returns, and this could be just the start. Jason Heyward is back with the Dodgers, not as a player. He just retired, not as a coach, but as a special assistant in baseball operations. And honestly, this feels like a really smart move for both sides, because if you watch the Dodgers over the last couple of years, it was obvious how respected Hayward was inside that clubhouse. The players constantly talked about him. Dave Roberts has praised him nonstop. Veterans trusted him. Young players listened to him. And even during stretches where he wasn't producing huge numbers on the field, his presence clearly mattered to this organization. And now he gets an opportunity to learn the front office side of baseball while staying connected to player development. This right here is a fascinating combination for him, because according to Doc, Hayward is expected to spend time around the affiliates, working with prospects throughout the system. And honestly, there may not be a better former player for that type of role, Travis, because if you think about his career path, top prospect, all-star level player, massive free agent contract, the veteran leader, a player that forced to reinvent himself later in his career and still have success. That right there is valuable experience for young players trying to survive pro ball.
The only thing about this that's a surprise to me is that somebody else didn't do this sooner. Because he's all of those things that you said. This is, you talk to those Cubs players that finally broke through and won the World Series for the first time in a million years, about 10 years ago. And they talk about the speech that Jason Heyward gave them during that rain delay in Cleveland before they finally done it. Jason Heyward gets credit for that. We saw it here in LA firsthand. If you've ever heard him talk, if you've ever seen him interact with his teammates, if you've ever seen him do anything on a baseball field that isn't swinging, throwing, running, you just know this, like, oh my God, that guy's the ultimate pro. The Dodgers are the ones that are going to get the benefit of his expertise, of his leadership, of his ability to connect with people is fantastic. I mean, if you told me fast forward 5 years, 10 years from now, and Jason Heyward's a general manager or a team president or something like that, wouldn't even be a little bit surprised. He's that dynamic of a leader that this is somebody that every team in baseball should have been falling over themselves to get their hands on, and that the Dodgers get to do it. It's another feather in their cap of saying, hey, look, there's another really smart guy that everybody connects with, that everybody respects. Let's put him in our system. Let's find a way to use him to get him ready. And by the way, who knows who the next bench coach is, the next manager is. You just never know where these guys are going to come from. And if Jason Heyward's in the pipeline, even better. So I think this is a fantastic role for him. I know that he's incredibly well liked and respected throughout baseball across the board. Like you said, he's been top prospect, like you mentioned, big dollar guy that's a bench player, guy that gets released. Like, he knows every single step of the chain and can speak to it. He can talk to, Will Smith about what it's like to be an all-star. He can talk to Freddie Freeman about what it's like to be, a huge prospect. He can talk to a guy that's maybe on his way out and knowing that, hey, the end is really near. What do I do now? Like, he can kind of talk to everybody about everything and explain what it means to be a pro. I absolutely love it. It's a home run for the Dodgers.
Yeah, he'll be out there in Ontario. He'll be out there in Tulsa, in Oklahoma City. And it doesn't matter if it's a Josue de Paulus, I hear hope type of prospect that he's talking to, or a James Tibbs III, Ryan Ward type of guy. But his 16 years in the majors, winning multiple World Series, that's huge. And it's great that the Dodgers were able to land him. They have a lot of former players in their organization. Maybe you don't know, but Brandon Gomes used to be a reliever in the big league level as well. He's the general manager for the Dodgers for Los Angeles. So this is huge, and he gets his opportunity. He gets his chance to come up in one of the most respected baseball operation groups in the sport. I know that it's like, how did no other team hired him? But I feel that for Hayward, it's an even better opportunity to land with the Dodgers, to then be like, okay, I'm going to be able to potentially someday in the future be the next Theo Epstein, be the next Andrew Friedman, because I get my start in such a valued, respected, and well-run organization as the Dodgers.
It's a great point. I'm sure other teams did offer him this opportunity, and he's probably looking around and saying, okay, I want to be surrounded by the best. I want to be surrounded by guys that inspire me. I want to be inspired by guys that can teach me how to do this at the highest level. And well, that's here. That's in LA. That's with the Dodgers. So you're 100% right that is a two-way street. Well, the Dodgers are very lucky to have him. He's very lucky to get a chance to get a look under the hood and see how the Dodgers do things as well. And wherever he goes, he can take that with him. He'll meet a lot of smart people here that, his phone rings in Chicago or Atlanta or wherever it is he may go next and say, hey, I got an opportunity over here. Do you want to come with me? It's a great opportunity for him as well. Everybody wins in this scenario, including the Dodger players who get a chance to, Dodger prospects get a chance to listen to one of the better players and certainly one of the better leaders.
And Travis, in every line of work, even for example, ours as sports broadcasters, I'm in my 20th year in my professional career since I started being in TV, radio, newspapers, internet now, and you've been in here for even longer. When you're around somebody that has been in your shoes, that tries to give you advice, that tries to help you, you're like, hey man, he knows what I go through day by day. I'm going to listen to that opinion a little bit better potentially than, for example, a boss that hasn't done that, what you're doing right now. And I feel that this is fantastic for the Dodgers, getting a guy as Jason Heyward, a multiple-time World Series champion, a guy that's very respected. This can only bring things even up higher for this team, for their minor leaguers, and for the guys that are even in that clubhouse with the big league club. So what role do you think at home, listening to our show, in the gym, walking your dog, in the car, wherever you're at, what role do you think Jason Heyward could eventually grow into with the Dodgers organization? Do you think it could be up there, GM, baseball ops, one of the top honchos, or do you think potentially another team steals him? Drop your answer in the comments or hit me up on social media at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, or on TikTok at Harry Ruiz_. Travis, he's available on X and IG at Travis Rodgers. Next on Locked On Dodgers, Yasiel Puig is back in the headlines again, but this time it's for a much more serious reason after federal prosecutors requested prison time following his felony conviction.
The NBA playoffs are here, and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to all that NBA action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started, because right now, new customers, you bet just $5 and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet hits. You heard me right? Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. During the playoffs, it's the absolute best, because everything you need is right there in one place. You can check all your stats, the trends, the matchups that you like before you make your picks, which makes the entire experience feel a lot more informed. So whether you're looking at player props, maybe you're following your favorite stars, that's a lot of fun way to do it, right? It adds just that another level of excitement to each and every game. Super easy to navigate the app. It makes playoff basketball more engaging from the very beginning to the very end. So head on over to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game.
Are you new here? Welcome. Everydayers, you already know you're the heartbeat of our show. It's easy and free to help us out. Subscribe and like our content on YouTube. Drop a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, and hit up the Locked On Dodgers listener line, 279-3-LOCKED. That's 279-356-2533. Former Dodgers outfielder Yasiel Puig faces major legal trouble. He's making headlines again, unfortunately for the wrong reason, something that has nothing to do with baseball. Federal prosecutors are requesting prison time following Puig's felony conviction for obstruction of justice and lying to federal investigators. According to this filing, prosecutors are asking for 18 months in prison along with supervised release and financial penalties. Damn, Travis. I mean, this goes far from that 2013 magical season that Yasiel Puig had in his debut in the big leagues, with the Dodgers being with the team all the way through 2018 and being like, hey, man, those first 2 years were magical, and then things start going south. The discipline is something that you were worried about. Eventually, the Dodgers get rid of him, send him over to Cincinnati. He finishes his career with Cleveland, and then he's just bouncing around in the Mexican League. The legal issues start coming up. He started playing in the Canadian Baseball League with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes, I know that's a team that's a name for another sport, but they also have it over in the Canadian Baseball League, and now this comes through. It's just a situation where you just say, hey, the players, they should just focus on their thing, focus on playing ball, and you got to be disciplined because fame, money, a lot of things come thrown at you. You got to stay just straight focused like a horse with his blinders. Keep going straight, man.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a chance to sit with Yasiel Puig and interview him, and one of the questions that I asked him at some point was, kind of going back to the very beginning of his story when he left Cuba originally and the way that he arrived in the United States and the journey that he took to get here. It's cinematic. His arrival in the U.S., the way that he broke into the Dodgers, the way that he impacted the game. He was just, he did the thing that doesn't happen very much anymore. Like, he literally made the team out of spring training. They just couldn't keep him off the team. He was just too good. And then he goes and he kills it. And he's really good. He's also really polarizing, not only with the opposition, but with some of his own teammates. He really rubbed people the wrong way, a lot of different ways. And I asked him, I said, who's making the movie about your life? And he kind of chuckled and said, well, we've talked about it. This is another chapter in that movie. This is another chapter in the book of, the guy that comes, under incredibly difficult circumstances thrives, has it end pretty quickly. Like, in the grand scheme of things, he was kind of an up and down guy really quick. That legal trouble found him. Probably not a huge surprise for a lot of people. I can't speak to the details of the case. I don't know, but that we're sitting here talking about this, I'm not shocked. It's not like we're talking about, Mookie Betts or something like, wait, what? This is like, yeah, okay. This is what's going on. Let's see what happens next. It's disappointing because he's incredibly popular among Dodger fans. He was an incredibly exciting player to watch. We'll see what happens next. I hope he gets it sorted out, because for a guy that wasn't a Dodger for he was there for 5 years or whatever it was, but it wasn't like he was there for a decade. It wasn't like he was racking MVPs. I think he made one All-Star team, but he made an incredible impact on Dodger fans. People still really like him. So I hope it works out for the guy. I'm pulling for him, but I'm not shocked that we're into the legal part of the Yasiel Puig story. This felt almost like an inevitability.
Yeah, and what sucks for him is that he wasn't even the original target of the investigation that now he's in trouble for. He was being interviewed as a witness, but prosecutors argued that he lied during questioning, specifically regarding his knowledge of sports betting activity tied to the person that was being investigated. Now, Puig's legal team is expected to push for probation instead, arguing that he's already faced major personal and professional consequences during this process. And I mean, it's just something that we hate reading this in the headlines, knowing the potential that this player had. Like you said, over half a decade, 6 seasons were the ones that he was with the Dodgers. He hit 100 plus hits in 5 of those 6 seasons. In 5 of them in his big leagues career, but 4 of them were with the Dodgers. And for the 6, he got 100 plus hits. The presence at right field, it was just like he was over the top. He was the type of guy that it seemed like somebody that could, like you said, can get on people's nerves, both for your team and the other. But in any moment, he could have that electric home run. He could have that double that he turns into a triple just by running through the stop sign and saying, I don't care, I'm going to get to third base because I know I'm fast enough. Or making an incredible throw from right field to third base. And you're like, how the heck does a guy have a cannon like that? And it's just spectacular. And just success got to him too early. 22 years old, and he was at the top of the world as a Dodger. The wild horse, as Vin Scully, rest in peace, nicknamed him. And now things got too wild, and he's in a situation where hopefully he's able to figure things out. His Eagle team is able to figure things out. But the next major date for him is May 26th. That's when he's scheduled to be sentenced in Los Angeles.
Yeah, the part that's such a drag, and like you were talking about it, Harry, is he was the rarest thing that you're going to see in baseball. He was incredibly exciting. Like every time he was in the lineup, you thought something wild might happen, right? Might be awesome, might be terrible. It may be him, stretching that double to the triple. It might be him trying to stretch a double into the triple at the worst possible time and getting thrown out by 5 feet. And everybody's going, what is he doing? It could be him throwing a guy out from the warning track. It could be him launching a throw into the third row of the seats. You just had no idea what he was going to do. A lot of it good, some of it bad. And he was just incredible. Like, what's going to happen next? There just aren't a lot of guys like that. And there certainly aren't a lot of guys that make you ride that wave up and down that you really enjoy. Usually it's one of these guys that you want to pull your hair out. And not to make too big of a deal out of this, but it's kind of the opposite of a Kyle Tucker situation. Kyle Tucker's just right in the middle, totally flat, no emotion, doesn't move you one way or the other. You don't hate him. You don't love him. It's just he's just a guy that's out there. Puig made you furious. Puig made you so excited. Puig made you want to go, I can't believe he was that dumb to do that. Puig, that's my favorite player I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, you were just all over the map with Puig, and you just don't get a lot of guys like that. And I hope it works out for him. I do. But here we are in the Yasiel Puig life story includes a court case. Not a surprise at all.
Yasiel Puig was must-see TV, sometimes for all the wrong reasons. You look at Shohei Ohtani. He's must-watch TV because of all the right reasons, because he always makes the right decision and he always puts himself ahead of the team. And that's the one time that he was involved in controversy was because he was too nice of a guy and he allowed his former translator to just be stealing money underneath him because he would allow him to just be like, he trusted him too much. That was his issue, Travis. Shohei Ohtani trusted his best friend too much. Yasiel Puig, that wasn't one of his issues when it comes to things on the field and off the field right there. We wish him the best. I loved watching him as a Dodger, but on the field, off the field, you have to be very careful, especially when you have the spotlight that you have playing for a team like Los Angeles and being a player as he was. So let me throw this one to you, checking out our show to close out today's episode. When you think back on Yasiel Puig's Dodgers career, what's the first memory that comes to your mind? I'll say this. I love this Dodgers-Giants rivalry, and that's why I hated that they lost the first 2 games of the series. Him going against Bumgarner, Madison Bumgarner, was one of my favorite things. Just be like, yeah, go kick his ass.
Yeah, the best. It was, look, one of the reasons that we get bat flips and everybody's kind of cool with him now is because Puig basically said, I don't give a damn. I'm going to do it no matter what. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. I'm going to go have a good time. And, give Puig credit for that. I like the emotion that he brought to the game. I like the style, the flair that he brought to the game. And him getting under Bumgarner's skin is one of the all-time greats. So anybody that infuriates Bumgarner is okay by me.
Max Muncy, Yasiel Puig, they always have a special place in our hearts because of that. All right, that'll do it for today's pod. Thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, to close out the week, hopefully talking about the Dodgers splitting their series against the Giants. And Sheehan will be up on the mound. We got a lineup that supposedly won't feature Mookie Betts or Shohei Ohtani. How will that look? We'll be talking all about it in tomorrow's episode. If you never miss our show, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Dodgers ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to LockedOnDodgers.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, for your second listen, go check out Locked On MLB. Travis and I appreciate you riding with us. Until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.